Tatsunoko vs. Capcom is very, very Japanese. I mean, are you looking at the screen right now? There's rainbows, glitter, giant golden lighters that morph into the size of buildings and then kick Beautiful Joe in his spandex-wearing butt. I feel like I shouldn't even be talking over this footage. I mean, this is gold. For those of you that aren't privy to the world of Tatsunoko vs. Capcom yet, Capcom's latest installment is the true successor to Marvel vs. Capcom. We've seen some fun entries in the Capcom vs. series in the past, but this is what I would consider to be the purebred of the group. Alright, right now you're probably wondering what I'm on and attempting to fathom just how this blur of spastastic action could be a purebred of anything, right? Well, it is. When it comes to pure fun, grabbing a buddy and a couple controllers and just rolling with the punches, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the standard, and Wii's latest fighter might as well be the spiritual successor to it. You may not know half the cast in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, but I assure you it won't matter. TVC is good old-fashioned fun. Most people, myself included, thought Tatsunoko vs. Capcom would never hit the US shelves, and for good reason. Do you have any idea who these guys are? Because I didn't, not before diving into the roster and reading up on a little Japanese anime history. Tatsunoko isn't a well-known brand here, and for that reason, the game was thought to be doomed to a Japan-only release. Well, surprise, surprise, it's here, and it rocks. The basic tag format of the Versus series still applies, allowing you to grab two fighters from either the Capcom side, Tatsunoko side, or a mix of both. The visuals are a nice blend of high-frame animation and 3D areas and effects, mixed with some classic themes and worlds from both franchises. Once you get a feel for the fighting, there are plenty of modes to check out as well, including the basic classics. You've got old-fashioned arcade, survival, and time trial modes. There's of course 2-player and even online play, making this a fully packed fighter worthy of Capcom's name and rich heritage. Now I could go on and on about how this is a more well-tuned fighter than even the Japanese release, giving details on the crossover system, mega crushes, and baroque combos, but it won't matter. Here's why. For all the open-to-the-masses, easy-to-play attempts the Street Fighter IV went for, I feel like Tatsunoko vs. Capcom obliterated it as far as intuitive, jump-on-in gameplay. It's a 3-button fighter, and while there's plenty tucked away like the abilities and techniques I just mentioned, they honestly won't matter for a lot of people. Instead, you can be a complete fighting noob or somebody who maybe got into the old school games but never really took the bigger step into the fighting world and still have a good time in this game. I mean, of course, if you jump into the online world and take on some serious competition, you're going to get rolled. But getting the basics is simple, and the style, music, and overall flow of the game is just going to keep you pumped from match to match. You know, it happens every single time. People dig fighting games, but they never play them. Well, this is a fighting game you're going to want to play again and again, and that's a huge achievement. Once you do get into it, yeah, there are plenty of ways to deepen your experience. Not only is online a blast, there's even a new US exclusive 4-player shooter that's deep enough to be its own WiiWare download. Throw in all the US exclusive fighters like Zero, Yatterman 2, and the hilarious Frank West from the Dead Rising series, and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom easily becomes one of the crown jewels of Wii's software library. What an incredible surprise for a game that shouldn't have even seen the light of day outside of Japan. Fans begged for it, and Capcom delivered in a huge way. Sure, there could always be more modes or fighters, and yeah, people are going to have to get over the fact that they don't know half the roster from the outset, but there's no denying Tatsunoko vs. Capcom's rightful place at the top. As far as I'm concerned, this is the first worthy Capcom fighter on a Nintendo platform since Super Street Fighter II on Super NES, and it's good to have this level of quality back. To check out my full written review, head on over to IGN.com. Now bring in that snazzy new logo.